Hello students, a very good morning to all of you. So today we are going to start a new topic, number of cells. All right. We have already discussed about cells in our previous video. So today we are going to talk about number of cells. So let's start. So based on the number of cells in the living organisms, they can be classified into two types: unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Now, uni means one and multi means many. That means organisms which have one cell, they are called unicellular organisms, and whereas organisms with multi cells are called multicellular organisms. So let's quickly see unicellular organisms. So unicellular organisms, these organisms are made up only one cell. That means entire body of organisms are made up of just one cell, and that one cell will perform all the functions that the organisms have to perform to survive. So this single cell perform the basic functions that are characteristics of the organisms. So you know that in unicellular organisms only a single cell perform all the functions. So here is some examples of unicellular organisms like amoeba, chlamydomonas, paramecium, bacteria, all are unicellular organisms, and only single cell perform all the functions of the body. Means unicellular organisms, in order to live, it needs to eat, it also need to excrete out the waste products, and it also need to respire, it's also need to circulatory system. So everything is taken care by that one cell. So this one cell do everything. So we have heard about amoeba. Right. So amoeba is a extremely small microorganisms, and we cannot see these microorganisms with the naked eyes. So with the help of microscope, we can see this small microorganisms. Okay, and it belong to protozoa. So now, if you look at the shape of amoeba, its shape keep on changing. It is not a specific shape. So this entire amoeba, just one cell. So this entire thing which you seen here is just one cell, and this one cell is perform various function. So this one cell help to amoeba to move. It also help to amoeba to eat food. It also help to excrete out the waste product. So everything is taken care by the single cell. Next example is unicellular organisms is chlamydomonas. So this is again unicellular organisms, and this is also microorganisms, and this belong to class of algae. And this is this look like this, means chlamydomonas look like this. This is a structure of chlamydomonas, and it is also a microorganisms, and we can see this structure of chlamydomonas with the help of microscope. We can't see this our naked eyes. So chlamydomonas is also example of unicellular organisms. Here only single cell perform a various function. Now the next one example of unicellular organisms is paramecium. It is also unicellular, and it belongs to protozoa. So this is also one particular cell which we see in paramecium. So one cell will take care of all the functions that need to be performed. So this paramecium, that are ciliated organisms. they have cilia, and this cilia helps in locomotion. Means with the help of this cilia, paramecium move one place to another. And this paramecium generally found in fresh water and marine water. So these are the examples of unicellular microorganisms. Unicellular means these organisms are made up of only one cell, and amoeba, chlamydomonas, parameciums are the example of unicellular organisms, and they are made up of only single cell, and only single cell perform the various function in their body. So here now the next one is multicellular organisms. Multi means many. So many cells constitute the organisms. These organisms have many cells, that means many cells together form as organisms. So in case of multicellular there are so many cells, and in case of unicellular what was happening, there was just one cell, and that one cell perform all the function of organisms. But here we have many cells, so which cell is going to perform which function? So here all of them are going to perform to all functions. So here is a division of labor. Now what do you mean by division of labor in multicellular organisms? So let's give an example. Let's suppose there is just one student in a class, only one student. Suppose only one student in a class 7th or class 8th, and a teacher say the class has to organize Teachers' Day on 5th September. Now only one student in the class and one student arrange everything to organize in Teachers' Day. Means only one student have to take care of the cultural performance, sitting arrangements, and the same person has to take care on the decoration and everything. So all the responsibilities is on that particular student, right? Now instead of one means one student, if there was 50 students the same class, then what happened? Now there are 50 students in the class, and here so many jobs which needs to be done for your Teachers' Day. So now what's the student decided? 10 student will take care of decoration, 10 students take care of cultural programs, and 10 of them take care of sitting arrangement, and that's how the labor and hard work get divided. Right? Understood? So in a very similar way, in multicellular organisms the labor gets divided. That means a group of cells perform a particular function, again another group of cell perform another functions, again you third group of cell which perform another functions. So that's how labor gets divided between the multiple cells. And different organisms have cells of different kind. Cells show variation in terms of their shapes and sizes. The shape and size of cells are related to the specific function performed by organisms. If we talk about human being, so you know that in our body have millions cells, and they all perform different functions like a group of cell. If you look some cell inside our body, if you look red blood cells and white blood cells, they look different. If you see the muscle cells, both look different, right? And if you look at nerve cell, again they look so different. So it look so many differences in cells. So Cells shows a great variation in their shapes and sizes.